Hello, fifth graders. I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. Today is June 18th, and we are going to continue to work on fractions and equivalent fractions. Now, yesterday, if you checked out the video early, you might not be able to hear me. So I went back and I re-recorded that, so if you want to go back and check that out again, you should be able to hear me at least. And so that should be an improvement from yesterday. Today, we are continuing to work on equivalent fractions, and we're going to be looking at in a couple of different ways. Okay? So first, let me start with just making equivalent fractions. So if I have 1/2, and I want to make equivalent fractions for 1/2, I can multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number to get other fractions. So let me give you an example. If I have 1/2 and I multiply this, the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2, I can make an equivalent fraction. Now the key here is whatever number you choose to multiply by, it has to be the same for the numerator and the denominator. Okay, as long as you do that, you've got an equivalent fraction. So in this case, numerators, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. So that means that 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent. And I can pick any number that I want. If I take 1/2, I can multiply that by 3/3. Again, the key there is to make sure that you're multiplying the numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay? If you mix that up, then you have a fraction that is nowhere near equivalent. Okay? So we have numerator 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So I see that 3/6 is also an equivalent fraction. And I can multiply by 4/4 and I'd get 4/8. I can multiply by 5/5 and I'd get 5/10. As long as the top number is half as big as the bottom number, it equals 1/2. Okay? Alrighty, so also, I want to take a look at equivalent fractions in a picture, okay? Because I know that some people like using pictures and finding equivalent fractions. So, I have a picture over here of 5/6. I have a picture over here of 5/6. Okay? And how do I know it's 5/6? Because there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. Okay? So that's my denominator. And the numerator, because what I'm counting right now is sections that are shaded. The numerator is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So that's where my 5/6 came from. Now, if I split this whole thing in half horizontally, I have changed the number of sections So that changes my denominator because there's more sections here, and it's also going to change my numerator because there will be more sections that are shaded in. So let's see our fraction here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 sections. And how many of those are shaded in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of those sections are shaded in. So down here at the bottom you can see 5/6 equals 10/12. Now I also can prove that with my math. I think, what number do I multiply 5 times to equal 10? Do you know what number you would multiply 5 by to equal 10? It's 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Remember, whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. And whatever I do to the numerator, I do to the denominator. So I'm going to take 6 times 2 also. And 6 times 2 equals 12. So there you have it. 5/6 is equivalent to 10/12. I can do it with a picture. I can show you with a picture. We can prove it with math. Okay? So in the problems that we do today, there's going to be lots of finding equivalent fractions. Let's take a look at an example. All right, so I have, let's see, 3/4. and I want to make an equivalent fraction that has 9 as a numerator. Okay? So I have to think, how do I get from 3 to 9? Because 9 is bigger than 3, I know it's multiplication, it's not division. Remember, there's only 2 things I can do to make equivalent fractions. I can multiply or divide. So if I'm making something smaller, I'm always dividing. If I'm making something bigger, I'm always multiplying. So in this case, it's multiplying because 9 is bigger than 3. So I think, what do I multiply 3 times to get 9? Do you know your facts? 3 times what is 9? 3 times 3 is 9. All right? Gonna say it a million times. Whatever I do to the top, I gotta do to the bottom. Whatever I do to the bottom, I gotta do to the top. I'm gonna multiply 4 times 3 also. What is 4 times 3? 4 times 3 is 12. Okay? So I can see if I want a fraction that's equivalent to 3/4 that has 9 as a numerator, the only fraction that works is 9/12. All right? Let's do one more. Let's say I have 3/5. And I want to make something that has 20ths. Okay? It's the same idea as before. 20 is bigger than 5. So the only way I'm making equivalent fractions and getting bigger is by multiplying. So I think 5 times what number equals 20? That's an easy one, right? 5 times 4 equals 20. Okay? One more time, whatever I do to the denominator, I got to do to the numerator. So I'm going to multiply the numerator times 4 also. And what is 3 times 4? It is 12. So if I want to make equivalent fractions for 3/5 that have 20ths, the only thing that works is 12 20ths. Okay, so whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. It's kind of simple that way. Let's do a division one just so you can see it. Okay, so let's say I have 6/8. Slide this down a little bit so you can see better. Let's say I have 6/8. And what I want to do is I want to make this into something that has 4ths. Okay, so I'm thinking, how do I get from 8 to 4? Now this time the number is smaller, right? So you're not going to multiply 8 times anything and get 4. All right, not a whole number at least. So the only way I'm going to get here is by dividing. So I think, what do I divide 8 by to get 4? Well, do you know what you do? It's 8 divided by 2 equals 4. Okay? Whatever I do to the denominator, I'm going to do the numerator. So if I divided the denominator by 2, I have to divide the numerator by 2. What is 6 divided by 2? It is 3. So I can prove that 6/8 equals 3/4. Okay? So division and multiplication, right? Division and multiplication. No addition or subtraction for this, okay? Addition and subtraction is not going to work in this way for making equivalent fractions. So if it's smaller, a smaller number of fraction you want, you're going to divide. If it's a bigger number of fraction you want, you're going to multiply. Okay, so after you've watched this video, you're going to go into your Success Maker and you're going to look for Summer School 5th grade math, June 18th, okay? And that will be our assignment for today. And then at 11 o'clock, we are going to have our Zoom meeting. So hopefully I'll be able to see you there. I usually ask you to bring paper anyway, but can you make sure that you bring paper today, because we'll use it for a little bit of an art project too. So we have a little bit of an art project with Summer School. So hopefully I'll see you there, and you can do our project, and I can answer your questions, and you can talk to people in our class. Okay? So hopefully see you at 11 o'clock. Have a fantastic day.